Differences with Kimberlyn Lavelle, Season 1, Episode 1. This is the introduction to the podcast. We're going to be talking just about who I am, what the goal of the podcast is, how it came about, and some of the core beliefs that I have and that are kind of driving a lot of my perspective, just so we're all on the same page. So I am Cameron Lavelle. I'm an education specialist. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of two. I am a learner. I love to learn things. I love to research things. And then I love to share what I've learned with other people. So I'm also very much a teacher. I have known since kindergarten that I wanted to be a teacher. And I actually used to take notes as a elementary school student on what I thought I would want to do in my classroom and how I would want things to be a little bit different than what I was experiencing as a student. I have now been working and teaching children with learning disabilities for over 15 years. And in that time, I've seen a wide range of challenges and had to come up with a wide range of methods to work with those students and teach those students. And we've had a lot of success, and I've had to do a lot of research to gain some of that success. But it wasn't really enough for me. This last year, I was really feeling pulled to help more kids, more families, and I knew that there are some families that would rather educate their child at home, either supplemental to what they're already getting in school or just homeschool completely, because for whatever reason, the traditional schools weren't working for them. But a lot of times there was kind of concern that if they were trying to teach their child, it would go horribly wrong, or they wouldn't give their child what they needed, and they didn't feel confident enough to do it. So this last year I've started consulting with families and supporting them in trying to come up with how to educate their child. I've also been creating a lot of free content, some free downloads and a lot of videos. Those are all at yourparenthelp.com. You can check out all the videos and you can see a lot of strategies and things that we're doing. But it also occurred to me that I'm not personally the type to watch videos very often because I'm so busy all day long with taking care of kids and everything and working, but I listen to podcasts. So this year I decided, okay, I'm going to switch a little and might do some videos to support the podcast, but my focus is going to be on a podcast and see if that helps reach more families and help more people that way. And so the goal of this podcast is to help more families to educate their own children peacefully, intentionally, and successfully. Now, some of my core beliefs, which I hesitate to even call them beliefs because they're all based on facts and research. But, you have to take all of that and kind of come up with your interpretation of that. And so, what I believe, and this one is more of a belief than a fact because I haven't seen a lot of research on it, but it's a newer recognition for me, and I'm doing more research into this. So this one, what I believe is that a child's biggest struggle may also be their greatest strength. What I'm finding is this can look a lot of different ways, and we'll get into all of these kind of core beliefs that I have in future episodes. But sometimes it's whatever the kid is getting in trouble for at school. My husband used to get in trouble for drawing during class. In elementary school, he'd get in trouble because he was always drawing instead of doing whatever he was supposed to be doing. But he was drawing out levels for video games. Particularly Sonic was one of his favorites. So he was drawing out these levels instead of doing whatever it was he was supposed to be doing. But now he's a video game level designer. That's his entire job. So it was, he was getting in trouble, and yes, maybe he should have also been doing whatever he was supposed to be doing. But sometimes we focus too much on, you need to do what I told you, and not enough on what is it that you're actually interested in, and how is that going to play out in your future. Another example is, which we're going to definitely get into more, is that if you look at some of the disabilities themselves, such as dyslexia or ADHD, you'll see that the way that child's brain works is a little bit different from a typical, in quotation marks, child. And some of those differences also lead to strengths. And a lot of times, with enough nurturing and support as children, the things that the kids keep getting in trouble for, struggling with as children, and feel badly about as children, becomes a great strength for them and is often the driving force in their career. Now, if the more support they have, the sooner that might happen. The more they're fighting against things, the longer it might take for them to realize their inner strengths and who they can become. So I'm definitely very interested in looking at every struggle and seeing, is that really a strength, or how could it be a strength, or is it related to a strength? So we'll definitely be talking about that over and over during this podcast. Another belief, I believe that curriculum doesn't really matter. The number one question that I see new to homeschool parents ask is, which curriculum is the best? And it doesn't matter that much. There's a lot of really good ones. There's some good websites. Then you have one particular that actually has gone through and reviewed like every homeschool curriculum that there is, and that's amazing. And you can read all of that and you can choose. I definitely think shopping for pretty much anything is fun. Or at least anything that I'm interested in. So I like shopping for various curricula. It's just, if you have limited time, spending time deciding on a set of curricula is not the best use of your time. Because most reading or English language arts curricula are more similar than they are different. They do what they need to do. And that's not where you're going to get the biggest bang. It's not bang for your buck, bang for your time. We can make almost anything work. And then there's like unschoolers who often don't have any curriculum, or they have some, but they don't really use it much. I think they definitely understand that curriculum doesn't really matter as long as learning is happening. Another belief, understanding your child and how they learn is of the utmost importance to their education. And I'm not talking about learning styles. We are going to get into this a lot, of how kids learn in an upcoming episode. It'll be very soon. So in the next few weeks, watch for that one. And we'll get into how all kids learn, why I think people spend too much time focused on learning styles, and where they should really be focusing on instead. And understanding your child, just everything about who your specific child is or children are, whether they're a morning person or whether they're an active person, whatever, who are they, what are they interested in? The more you know about your child, your specific child, and what makes them unique, the better prepared you'll be to educate them. So I would actually spend more time researching your child than researching a curriculum. Another belief is that having fun and engaging interest are critical to your child's education. Your child will learn so much more if they are having fun and if their interests are engaged. So we'll also definitely be diving into this in future episodes. Some topics that we'll be going over in this podcast is how children learn. That'll kind of be coming back to it all the time. In the next couple of weeks, we'll have that like foundational understanding. So that one's going to be super important to listen to. We'll talk about various learning disabilities. There's going to be a specific episode in the coming weeks that just goes over all of them briefly so that we can then talk about them more in depth in future episodes. And then a lot of the episodes are going to be just about strategies, homeschool strategies, supplemental education strategies, strategies that are subject specific, how to teach math, how to teach fractions in math, might be disability specific, how to work with students with dyslexia, how to work with students with ADHD, and so much more. So you can see a lot of our focus will be just how to do it, what to do, what it might look like. There will also be interviews to try to get some ideas from other people, whether they are specialists in a certain field or specialists in homeschooling because they've been doing it for a while, and they at least know what works for them, and it might give some inspiration. I would love for you to contact me and let me know what it is that you would love to see in this podcast. I'm always open to feedback at Kimberlyn@decodinglearningdifferences.com. Just email me. You can also find all those videos and downloads and everything at www.yourparenthelp.com. And this podcast lives at decodinglearningdifferences.com. So find me and all of our great content at those two websites, yourparenthelp.com and decodinglearningdifferences.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you next week.